Maggie Haberman, not her best week, not the week she wanted, but does it matter? Does it matter? If you talk to people inside Team Clinton, they say it's a media frenzy, it's a process story, she's still in a commanding position, it will be forgotten. Will it?
The first race that I covered for Hillary Clinton was in 2000, her U.S. Senate race. And in November 1999, she was criticized for weeks for having kissed Sua Arafat after like a very, very inflammatory speech. That was going to be the controversy that was never going to go away at that point until, she won by 10 points the following November. I think that this is not going to be what voters vote on. I think it has, however, put her on the defensive at the start of her campaign. It has basically made her a candidate now, a couple of weeks before she was going to. I don't think that the timing changed because of the emails. It was always going to be April. They were just debating between whether it would be, sort of a rollout of a soft launch or a video or, a couple months later. She does not want a long campaign. She has never wanted a long campaign. It's frankly never been clear how excited she is about another campaign. And honestly, it's kind of hard to blame her. What we put presidential candidates through is terrible. I think the email thing is significant because it is going to come up and up and up, but it is not going to be what voters make their decision on at the end of the day.
There's an interesting contrast with Jeb Bush and the way he's behaved in the last several months. Not that he's had a perfect few months, but I think a lot of people could look at Bush and understand what it is he may run on. He's got this slogan, right to rise. He's talking about Republican issues in a different way than other candidates have, and you have a sense of what Jeb Bush is about. I'm not sure that voters, at least I as an ordinary news consumer, have a good, clear sense of what Hillary Clinton intends to run on and stand for. And so when she gets in trouble, that's all there is. People don't have any framework to put that in.
And that is really, I think, what seems to be driving this focus on April. There had still been people who were holding on to this hope that maybe she could announce later, she could do a soft launch. The reason to do a launch in April is to have a proactive agenda, be able to go on the offense, be able to roll out economic messages, foreign policy messages. Otherwise, you're just dealing with whatever the controversy of the day is. And if it's emails, this past week, it's going to be something else next week and something else the week after that.
Right. The question is, did you learn anything new about her? I think we've all known that she's a pretty controlling person. Some people see that as a good thing, some people don't. She's pretty secretive. Some people see that as a good thing, some people don't. But the impact for me is, did anything change? Listen to Martin O'Malley, the former governor of Maryland, one of the Democrats who may run against her. If you thought this would create an opening, listen to Martin O'Malley. All the Democrats are saying, I'm tired of talking about this. And listen to how many times he uses one word.
Look, every year there is the inevitable, most years there's the inevitable front runner. And that inevitable front runner is inevitable right up until he or she is no longer inevitable.
I think even he thinks that she's almost inevitable. Now, she was inevitable once, and that was 2008. But it's just not there, right?
There is the only person who could run to her left in a serious way, I think, is Elizabeth Warren. I think Martin O'Malley is trying to do that, but as you said, he's not going to hit her on this. He's doing a, it's just business, it's not personal kind of contrast. I don't see an Obama-like figure on the horizon right now, and I do think that this is Hillary Clinton's, not even to lose, it is very hard to see otherwise.
The party is so invested in her,
Yes.
They can't get their money back at this point, right? All the staff, all the fundraising, all the apparatus, there's no way.
No, there's not. You're not seeing anyone making any moves. Joe Biden's people say that while they want him to run, he is not making moves. You always hear whispers, will Deval Patrick come in? He's talked about needing to have a robust primary. There is simply no move being made by anyone who is going to actually challenge her.